So the funniest part is I never thought I would be in the tech field. Since I was in primary school, secondary school, I really wanted to be a medical doctor, just like a lot of every other person. And it just kept on being in my head till I got to SS3.
From wanting to become an astronaut, to wanting to become a pilot, to wanting to become a journalist, to wanting to become a show presenter, then to finally wanting to become an architect.
Hello everyone, I am Kemi and you're listening to Designstration podcast with Ufot. Design plus illustration equals Designstration.
Hello everyone, you're listening to Designstration podcast with Ufot, and in case you're wondering, design plus illustration equals Designstration. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Hello everyone, you're welcome back to the Designstration podcast. My name is Ufot Ubon and I am your host for this podcast. And today I have with me a very special guest. Actually, two. You know what? Somebody's running late currently, but I'm hoping he joins in on the conversation as we go along. But I have with me currently, her name is Kems. And she's going to tell us if that's her real name, if that's her full name, And she's an amazing product designer. And she actually designs amazing products. And yes, you should hire her. Kems, it's really a privilege to have you on the podcast. You're welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Well, my actual name is Esther, funny enough. But my second name is Kemi, so that's where Kems came from. So, yeah. So Kems is like a nickname, something like that.
Yeah, I actually thought as much that it was going to be Kemi. Yeah, I thought it was going to be Kemi. That's beautiful. It's really good to have you on the podcast.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
How have you been? How's your day going?
It's going pretty well. It's going pretty fine. Less noise, so I'm okay.
That's good. It's a very important question we always love to ask here on the podcast to all of our amazing guests who graciously grants us audience is their story, right? How did they get into design? What inspired them? Where did they start from? When you were in primary school and whenever you get the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a product designer. Was that always your first go-to answer? So Kems, I'm definitely sure you also have one of those adventurous background story and I'm really sure we are all delighted to hear it. So Kems, the floor is yours. Please tell us your story.
Okay. So the funniest part is I never thought I would be in the tech field. Since I was in primary school, secondary school, I really wanted to be a medical doctor, just like a lot of every other person. And it just kept on being in my head till I got to SS3. So at that time, I hated biology. Like, it's terrible.
And you wanted to be a medical doctor.
Biology. I do not know. It was crazy. And I don't like seeing blood. These normal things that they would want to deal with. I didn't really like dealing with it. I felt like I wouldn't be able to manage the situation, basically. And my mom used to tell me a lot that if you can't deal with these tiny things, how do you want to do doctor work? In her words, how do you want to do doctor work if you can't manage these things? And I was relentless. I did not want to hear anything. I still wanted to do my doctor work because I think around the time my grandmother died, I assumed that the doctors were at fault. So since that time, I told myself that I was going to be a doctor so I can, fix the errors and all of that. So that continued till I wrote JAM. And yeah, biology really, really messed me up because like every other thing was great and all, but my biology was like 50 something. So it really, really dragged the entire thing down. And my dad just told me that you can't be in the medical field. There's nothing you can do about it. And since I like math a lot, they just said, okay, go into computer science. Yeah. And somehow, I did the computer science, landed in Babcock, and the journey started. So it wasn't always amazing, honestly, because my entire 100 level was crazy. I didn't like the course. I didn't want to like the course. But I'm a kind of person that really, really thrives in academic validation. Let me call it that. So whether I like it or not, I must pass it. That's literally just how I think. So at the time, I was still striving really hard, reading a lot and doing all of that. So we had a programming course, a particular programming course. I think it was C at the time. And it was quite easy. So I assumed that, okay, I think I'll just become a developer. But then, moving on, I started trying to do HTML and CSS. Then I realized that every new website I open, there is something different about it. Like if I open this website, background's probably blue. This other one, the main colors are probably purple and black. And then I started to ask myself, okay, I know the code, but do I know why these colors are different? Like what makes it different? And this is the fact that I'm very, very inquisitive. From there, I started searching and trying to know why. And after a lot of searches, I landed on a page that was talking about user interface and user experience design. It was very intriguing to me, honestly. And I just kept on reading and reading and reading. And from there, I dropped everything programming. I was like, okay, this is what I want to focus on, because I felt like developers they don't know why things are a particular way, and they do not understand that the roots, like the reason for something, is usually quite important, like way more important than how you build it, because even the Bible says if the foundation is bad, what would righteous do? So, there was a lot of that. Let me just take it from, the start. Let me start it by myself. Let me see how it goes. And like that, I just landed in UI UX and I continued. I was really, really fighting battles in it because it was not easy. It wasn't easy. I battled with colors, the colors that led me to the UI UX. I battled with it for a very, very long time. But eventually, I found my way around it and the rest is history. Now I'm here. So that's basically how I got into it.
Wow. Hey, you truly have had the road journey. You've taught. I didn't even know you knew codes and you actually do web development. I didn't know that part. Wow.
No, I do. I just avoid it.
It's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Quite intriguing. Jojo, you're welcome. You're welcome. Finally, you're here. How can you be coming late to a... You see, this is the problem you get when you use a mouse. This is one of those problems.
More young. Yeah, this will be mouse.
Jojo.
Wow.
You see, that's the problem. If you're using a trackpad, you'll be here.
This is the problem. I mean, oh my. Jojo, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's good to have you. We actually have started. So before you actually joined on, Jojo, Kems just shared her adventurous story, her background on how she came into the design space. And it was actually beautiful. And I'm definitely sure you'd really love to hear that story when this episode is published. So it's something you should be looking out for. So we would also love to hear your story as well, because I'm pretty sure you two have had quite an adventurous journey, and maybe on how you actually came into design world entirely. So when you were in primary school or so, when you were asked the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Was it, your go-to answer to always say, I want to be a designer? Or how did you end up in this wide design world?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. That's a very, very good question, because if anyone had told me when I was small and played with my toys and whatnot, I would grow up and think, I want to become a designer, I wouldn't have believed it. I would say I went from wanting to become an astronaut to wanting to become a pilot to wanting to become a journalist to wanting to become a show presenter, then to finally wanting to become an architect. And I'm currently studying architecture. So even when I started studying architecture, that when I entered for the first time, I thought, oh yes, I'm about to start my journey as an architect. If you had told me, young man, you will not do this architecture thing, or it's product design that you do it, I'll tell you, no, you are lying. Because I picked up architecture and I told myself, I love this course, I love what it is about, and I'm going to put my all into it. But it's like we all don't really get to see the big truth until we indulge ourselves into whatever it is that we want. So for me now, it's like I studied architecture, and when I got to know about certain things, I realized, okay, I saw the good parts, but I was not aware of the bad parts. And now I might be a bit too deep into it that I cannot stop anymore. But there should still be a chance for me to still look for something that I would love to do. So as regards blog design, how I got to know about it first of all was from my elder sister. Kudos to her by the way. I mean, well, she's currently not with me at the moment, but kudos to wherever wherever she is. So I used to think applications and websites and whatnot were all just about web development. There wasn't a part of me that thought, oh, there's a need for us to have a design before you can develop something. So there was a time when I learned a bit about coding myself. Did a bit of HTML, brackets, open or whatever. I forgot what it was called. Permit me. Well, you open this, close this, div, all of those things. I learned a bit about it. And I was like, okay, yes, so I'm learning coding, blah blah blah. But it got boring because I couldn't really be creative with it the way I wanted to. So I dropped it. And I'm the kind of person that I see myself as a creative. I've dabbled in a lot of things. I used to be a live streamer. I
Confirm.
used to own a YouTube channel. I've done a lot of things basically. But I still couldn't get that satisfaction that I wanted. And so when my other sister introduced me to product design, and that was around the time that
Yeah.
I got my first personal laptop, she introduced me to it and she was like, oh, because of how much you're always yapping about design here and there, and because of the kind of things I've seen you do, I feel like this would be a good fit for you. So me thinking that okay, my sister is just trying to be funny, like she always tries to be anyway. Let me just take what let me take let me see what she's talking about. So I picked it up, and yes,
Yeah.
I am this type of gamer. I feel like you might be able to relate a bit to this before. So I'm this type of gamer whereby I don't read instructions, neither do I watch tutorials before playing the game. I play the game first, then I come back to come and then I come back to come and watch the tutorials. And that was what I did with web design basically. I just jumped into it like as if I was already a designer. I said, oh, let me do this one up with it. Figma, I knew zero about Figma. But I saw an icon that looked like a rectangle and I drew a rectangle. I basically started off exploring with the tool itself. I started off with Adobe XD actually. I remember correctly. Started off with Adobe XD, learned a bit about it. And then I started hearing about Figma on the internet and I was thinking, why are people not using Adobe XD? Why are people using Figma? Is it that Figma is better than Adobe XD? Because this tutorial that me I'm watching, this young man inside this tutorial said I should use Adobe XD. So why are people using Figma? There was a need for me to, check out what it was about again too, because I'm also a very curious person. So I picked up Figma. The same thing too. This thing looks like a rectangle. Oh yes, it's a rectangle. I drew a rectangle. I drew a circle. Drew a line. I made a button. Designed the page. Designed the flow. So it just went on and on and on and on. I did a lot of self study when I started my journey. I did a lot of self study. Then luckily for me, I got on Twitter. Being the talkative guy I am, I got to speak to a few people. Then they told me, "Oh, do you know you can also better your journey by joining a boot camp where they actually teach you about this thing that you're trying to learn?" And that was when I got to know about you. And that was the first design related school that I attended in my life. Although I didn't really attend because now that I think about it, we had like I don't know how many classes. I attended try just one. If you imagine attendance then for classes, I think I probably have like maybe 2% or 3% because I was not showing up at classes. I was so engrossed in self learning because one thing that you can have to your advantage as a person is that if you know how to explore, you will do so well. So I found myself on YouTube and I was discovering a lot of even the things that didn't concern me. I found myself watching videos on them. So what I usually do then is that I would show up, uh, grab the task for the class that I just concluded that I did not attend by the way. I would show up, grab the task, go and do the task, come back, submit. I've left the Slack channel. They won't hear from me until there's the next task to drop in. But one thing I now realized is that I was doing that and I was doing well with my tasks, but I was not joining classes. So that just kind of cemented the fact that okay, my self learning was really working out and I got a bit too confident with the whole self-learning thing until I realized that okay, there was now a point where I needed to calm down and actually still learn some things from actual professionals in the industry. So my whole journey into product design, I wouldn't say is kind of similar to everybody because I've heard a lot of people speak about the agenda and they usually start with, oh, so I got to know about this and then I joined the postcard. For me, it was more of like exploring before discovering that was even something called the boot camp. So yeah, that's basically like a brief summary because if I was to go on and on in knowledge space. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Just wow. Truly, it's been a Dora the Explorer something for you. Like really, you've walked down the ice, you've juggled down, you've come back, and it's quite beautiful to know that designers have actually explored different kind of things. I was even surprised when Kems also mentioned that, she also started out doing some web development as well and the likes of that. It's truly beautiful to have such kind of adventurous story. And I really do believe curiosity is one of those key things that actually made many persons pivot or, majored in designs. Curious mind. How did this come up and how did that come up? And I'm grateful for where you both are today in your career. It's blissful. Your work does speak for itself. So thank you for sharing that with us, Jojo and Kems. Thank you. What would you say are the principles or philosophies that guide your design process, and how have they evolved over time? Anyone, Kems, Jojo, anyone wants to go first?
I'm a gentleman, so I feel like Ken squared. Yes.
Gentleman indeed.
Okay, Kems, over to you. Real gentleman.
Gentleman indeed. Okay. Gentleman that came with the podcast. Anyway, I think one thing that I used to take so seriously before until I had an interview recently, which was accessibility. So that used to be something that I never joked with, like, because I do classes, yeah. So I take, like, I was saying it as, okay, people that have problems with their own eyesight, yeah, they should not be restricted from using your application just because they have issues with their own eyesight. Then I realized recently that you cannot build an entire application based off just some people's problems. Like, what I mean is you can't basically just hold on to that and forget every other thing. So I'll say the way that has evolved will be from it being just accessibility, there's also inclusivity in that as well. So like, I understand there are people that do not have problems and they want to explore. Everybody wants to explore.
Yeah.
Even me, I like exploring.
Yeah.
But my eye is too bad to explore. But I explore that as. But then in that case, so I started taking it as, okay, accessibility and inclusivity. And another thing would be usability. If something is made and it cannot be used or I can't enjoy it, then it's useless. If I can't use the thing, then we won't make money. If they don't make money, they will not pay me. So the usability became like also very, very important to me in terms of like how the application can be used. And I want to believe that this boils down to so many things. It's not just can they click on it. And it's not, unfortunately, it's not just dependent on the designer. It has a lot to do with the developers as well. Because functionality is a little bit tied into, let me not say a little bit, it's really, really tied to usability. And functionality doesn't just end on the designer's end. It also moves on to the developers and the things they do. So being available from the beginning to the end of the product is quite important to me because of that usability aspect of it. So those two are very, 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 very important to me. So yeah, that's what I would say. But the accessibility really, really evolved to accessibility and inclusivity because a girl can explore and every other person wants to explore as well.
That's brilliant. Accessibility, usability, it's brilliant. It is. How about you, Jojo?
Okay, so I would say that for me, Karen just kind of pointed out one of them already. but I don't want her to come here and say I'm copying her. So I'll just go on and
Oh, but,
mention
but you
my
are.
other
But
students.
you are.
Yeah.
I don't want to look like I'm copying you. So I'll just go ahead and mention the other one. So the other one for me would be, I have this one principle that I stand by whenever I approach anything that requires me to provide this solution. Sorry. So I think one thing people usually forget to realize is that sometimes not everything is a problem. Sometimes not everything is a problem. There are some that might be improvements that are not really problem. And if there is anything that I stand by as a person, it is that whenever I approach any project, there's a need for me to always make sure that I cement the fact that it is a problem first of all before trying to find a solution to it. Because I've been in a position like that whereby I it was a personal project by the way. I tried exploring and I picked on something as regards WhatsApp. So there was a feature of theirs where because of my inadequate research that I did, I realized that okay, I assumed that there was a problem in which there was no problem at all. I was just the one that did research here I was supposed to research. So that just kind of edged me on somewhat, okay, if I'm going to decide that I want to work on anything, there's a very important thing for me to discover why it is a problem. No, if it is a problem and why it is actually a problem before I then
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
okay, so how do I go about solving this? Because the moment I'm able to do that, then I can understand, okay, this is how I can approach this. If there's a better understanding of the problem, there's going to be a better understanding of the kind of solution that it would
Yeah.
require for it to get solved. So I think that is one principle that I hold on to as a creative. Thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree with both of you. These are principles that should actually be top notch, like up there when designing products and user research and everything inclusive. Because in the end, we're designing for people, right?
Yeah.
We're designing for people. So if the people cannot use the products, then I see the product to be poisonous. That's just my philosophy. Yeah, so it's great. It's great. There's this gift that only certain persons in the world have, and it's the ability to balance work and school, work and life, work, like literally balance work life. Even work life balance, that sentence alone is not balanced. But being able to balance work and school, work and life, how have you both been able to do that successfully?
Balance. That
This
is
one,
very,
everybody's.
thank you very much for that question.
Honestly.
Um,
Which one? Thank you very much for that question. Every question,
no,
thank you very
Particular
much.
one. This particular one.
that
Ah.
question is quite interesting. Let me call it interesting. So what I would say is that for anybody that is
Yeah.
going to be listening to this, let me start off by saying I am an architecture student. There's no balance. Then you cannot say, oh, you want to create a balance between studying architecture and doing something else. Because at the end of the day, architecture itself requires you to balance your life and then balance architecture with it. So it's like I have already indulged myself into something that is quite taxing. But because of our slogan for the year now, which is no grief for anybody, and I know the kind of things I want to get out
No
of the
grief for
things that
your
I'm
cost.
doing. I have just exactly. I have just decided that at the end of the day, whether it is me that will finish architecture, it is architecture that will finish research with you. And then I then decided to pick up design with you too. So what I've just been able to do is, I wouldn't say I've been able to create a balance. What I'll just say is that, okay, there's one thing that I should mention, which is very important. God has been there for me. I don't know how it happens. I don't know if it is, I don't know if it is my luck. By the way, I fear that it will run out very soon. But it is usually that anytime I have something important to do in school, I usually don't have any design work in my hands. I don't know why it happens.
Lucky.
I don't know if it is magic. But anytime I have any important, I mean, there are times where I have assignments and whatnot, and I also have to work on projects and whatnot. But for important stuff like, say, I need to write a test, I need to write an exam, I usually don't have design work. So that has been working well for me, and I'm very grateful for it. And I feel like it can only be God because It has happened more than 3 times. It's not magic anymore. The magic is supposed to run out, but it still keeps happening. So I'm very grateful for that. But I would say that on a normal level, I've been able to just create a type of um, not schedule because I'm pretty bad at following schedules. So I don't know how to stick to them, unfortunately. I try them out, I decide, oh, today I'm going to be serious in my life. I create a journal. I'll do this today. I'll do this by this time. 2 hours into it, I flopped. 2 hours into it, I flopped. So I feel like that doesn't work for me. So what I've just been able to do is I just make sure that I assign certain amounts of time to the work I do. So for example, I know, okay, today is the Saturday and I have assignments and I have designs. Okay, so let me just do my assignments from now to say like 5, and then I'll just hold on from 5 p.m. in the evening to like this time, and I'll say I work on my design. And perhaps because I'm a sufferhead, I feel like that's the word I should use. I'm a sufferhead. I would find myself even not sleeping over the night just to make sure that I get stuff done. It would look like, okay, I'm stressing out, and yes, I do take breaks. It is very important, people. You need to rest. It is very, very important. So I do take breaks when I do things like that. But it works out for me, and it has been working out for me. If there's a better way out there, perhaps I've not found it yet, or perhaps I've tried it and it did not work out for me. But what I currently do works out. And if you're out there and you're in a similar situation like me, what I can just say is you will not die. I promise you, you won't die. So yeah, that's great. That's great.
That's great. Kems, how about you?
Well, let me give you a little context to my situation. So, number one problem, I am a computer science student in Babcock. Number two problem, I'm the vice president of my department. Now, when I say department, I want to explain how, like, for computer science, we have computer science, computer tech, software engineering, like 5 departments in one place that I am, the vice president for. Number 3, I am a first daughter. Number 4, I am obsessed with amazing grades. So I'm going to start with, for me personally, there's no balance. And I almost never do not have something to do. And that goes to work. Oh, adding the fact that I work too. Sorry, to that one. But that goes to the fact that like my work, school, there's home. There's always something to do for me. There is always something to do. There is no day that I just stay and I just rest. So before, what I used to do was go with the flow. Today, I have 10 things to do. Okay. I'm going to pick the 10 things by the horn. And usually I never actually complete them, but I do it to a certain degree. So what I started doing was there's somebody I send my plans to. And then for the entire day, I try to stick to, okay, I was going to do this thing by 8:30. Even if it's 8:50, I get to do it. I will still do it because I want to see a check mark in front of it to prove that, I've already achieved this thing. So it gets really, really wavy at times when I have to read for exams or when work is very, very tasking or when, sometimes something just suddenly pops up and then I suddenly have to leave my comfort zone. So I would say that there really isn't any balance. I just try to adapt to every new problem. Like last semester was the hardest in my life. It was crazy because I had so much work to do. I even lost a job. It was that bad. And
sorry about that.
Thank you. And I had school. I felt like I was falling behind. I had exams that for the first time since I entered school, I didn't read for. But we thank God for my brain. You see, this God, he does a lot of amazing things. It's not easy. But anyway, even after not reading for that, the exam went pretty well. It went pretty well. And I came back, found my way around it. When I got home, I felt this serious urge to design. I was designing almost every day, always putting out something because I just felt like free from schoolwork. Even though I was actually productive enough to completely finish every other thing I had to do coming back to school. So, like I was saying, there really isn't any balance. I just do everything. I try to have a plan. Like I try to have different tasks I have to achieve for that day, put it all in one place, put my head in vice president work, school work, product design work, learning work. Every work is a work.
Yeah.
Put everything inside and just try to achieve everything however I can. That's honestly how I do it. And yeah, also shook reading inside because woman was pass. So yeah, that's just basically that. There's no balance, honestly.
Wow. Just wow.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that for most of the people that might listen to this and think, ah, no, don't mind them, they have balance. So if you want to catch me personally, you should study my Twitter page very well. If you notice that I've started dropping design, like I'm touching mad explorations, know that I am at home, I don't have anything to do, and
Exactly.
I've come to you. But the moment you see that my Twitter page goes dry, just know, yes, that's the end. I'm choked. There is no time for me to say, let me open Figma. And if I have to open Figma, that's just because I have office work to do. Once that is done, there's nothing else. There is nothing else. So yeah, I think this is what
Exactly. Even my LinkedIn, the moment you don't see any posts or you don't see
Wow.
me commenting on 10 different things, then school is choking my life.
Wow. So literally, work-life balance might as well be a myth. But that being said, we go chop 'em. We'll survive. We'll survive. And really, if I'm to merge both of your experiences, I would come up with you can actually go every day and just do the task that's ahead of you and make sure to rest, right? As you go along, make sure to rest. I saw a tweet from someone, I don't know who exactly tweeted it, but the person said, if you don't pick a day to rest, your body would pick one for you. So so that we don't get burnt out and all. Rest. If you can do it the way Kems does it, where you just go each day. Kems is really putting on many hats. I mean, shout out to you too, JoJo. But you are not the vice principal, vice president of your department. So yeah. Oh yeah.
That matters.
Yeah. These phenomenal designers are actually doing the work, and we're grateful for how well they can manage it. Is there any particular project or any design work that has actually inspired you in your design journey? Any works you've seen so far, maybe on Behance, that it's not just one of those designs that just wowed you, but something that really pushed you and you just boosted your creativity.
I have like a lot of them, and I probably can't remember a lot of them. But at the time that I started design, rather, I always feel like at them I started, a lot of us started at the same time because we were a lot of newbies, and that was the design Twitter of Design with Rooks time, the challenge and all of that. And there was this challenge that came out. I funny enough cannot remember, but I think it was a car locator application thing. And I was into design, like, I think just 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, but I attempted because I just felt like, and I saw a particular design that was too neat, as in it was extremely neat. I cannot remember the person that did it because this was like 2 years ago or so. I can't remember the person that did it, but it was so neat. I sat down. I was jotting things down from a design, which may not make sense to people that are not designers.
Yeah.
But like, I was really putting down, okay, this particular thing is like this. They made this particular thing like this. And it was just really different from what you see on YouTube, like what you see people designing is really, really, it's not really the thing, basically, let me call it that. So after seeing that, I was now more interested in seeing other people's designs and taking notes than designing itself. So around that time, I took a lot of notes. I saw, okay, this is how they do this thing. Your shadows must not be a lot. You must care about colors a lot. And that particular design just pushed me to do a lot of things way better. And then there was another design by, I think, Lady Kachi. And it was a full case study. And at that time, I don't think I had done any case study. maybe I had done one and it was not given, basically. So when I saw the case study and I read it, I realized that what makes a case study is making people want to read it. Like, people have to read it to know it is a case study, not just see that, oh, this is a case study. Let me scroll past, or let me just like and retweet so the person can have more. The person has to read it. So that particular case study, I read it from the beginning to the end, and then I now started understanding some things about like trying to actually pass a story and all of that. So I was on my case study machine journey. I was literally always putting out case studies, and it wasn't just me wanting to put them out. I actually was putting them out because I was learning more. The more I put them out, the more things I learn. And the more I read other people's case studies, the more things I learn. I think that's what I'm going to tell anybody that's reading this, and I'll be listening to this rather, and it's just starting. Checking other people's designs and reading other people's case studies, or whatever you want to practice, check other people that have practiced it and see how they go about it. It's going to really help you to do something that makes sense, like makes even more sense when you bring out your own, because now you have not just the knowledge of other people, you also have the one of yourself. There's something my lecturer says that it says experience is the best teacher, but doesn't mean that everybody has to learn from experience. You can learn from somebody else's experience. You can read through somebody else's mistake and learn what you're going to do differently. So a lot of projects actually really, really inspired a lot of things in my entire journey. But I would say those two really helped me with my case study presentation and my designs itself, like making them pretty and neat and all of that. I want to believe they are pretty and neat, but yeah, that's basically it.
Wow. That's something. Yeah, Jojo.
Yeah, so I would say that for me, I should start off by saying that currently on the Nigeria design speakers streets, even more than that, but let me just say the Nigeria design speakers streets. Your design inspires me, and I love it, and I've stolen it from you. And you probably create a design
Even I said that
that
this
you
is
might. Hello, young lady, please. It's my turn now. It's my turn now.
sorry.
Anyway, so yes, you've probably done something beautiful with your design, regardless of how small it is, regardless of whether you are using or right. So you've done something beautiful with your design. It has inspired me. I have stolen it from you, and I'll probably design something very soon that you look like your design, but it's going to be better. So thank you very much, first of all. Then I would go on to say that I've had a lot of designs inspire me. I've had a lot because, like I said, I'm quite a curious person. So I am always everywhere. If I'm not on creative design, you find me on awards. You find me everywhere, basically. I mean, not that you find me everywhere because I don't go out of my house, but then you find me everywhere. So, but I would say that currently, though, there's this person that's been doing amazing design, and I know I'm not the only person that can relate to this. I don't know his full name because, I mean, I do know his full name, but I cannot pronounce it, so I'll pronounce just the part that I know. Ogu is quite common on Twitter. I think he's from Turkey, I believe. I hope I'm not assuming so much, but I think he's from Turkey, and he has been doing amazing with his designs. What I've seen is that he has been able to bring a certain direction. I mean, he's not the only person doing it, but for him personally, the amount of work, the amount of intentionality he puts into his design, the amount of details he puts into his design is enough to make you want to sit down and ask yourself, oh, when I sit down to think about detailing my design, when I sit down to think about doing this as graphic design, am I really putting a certain amount of time that this is putting it? Because I've had, someone asks this on Twitter that, oh, how long does this take you? And they say, oh, he spends 2 hours doing this, spends 2 hours doing that, before now finally starts designing. And I've just been able to look at this man from afar because I have not contacted him personally. But his works have been able to teach me one thing, which is that there is no limit to how much your design can be beautiful. Okay, so there's the need for functionality. But if you have been able to have functionality and your design, then it is really not going to appeal to people like me and Ken's because at the end of the day, we are colorful people. We like things that are colorful. things that were attached, which is something that I feel like Google has been able to capture with his design. So my friends will probably hear this and they'll say I'm kissing his ass or something, but you people be careful. This man is a good designer and his works are really. And recently, people would have said, okay, well, not recent because I've died a bit on Twitter for the meantime. But before I did stop posting, people would have noticed from my designs that I was starting to explore a new direction in my design, which is something I was inspired by. So I would say anybody out there that is looking to, go futuristic or go bam with their design, you might want to take about this. I don't know his full Twitter because there's something there's no point to use on Twitter, so you find it in that sense. But yes, that is someone that I feel like as of now. So one last thing I would say is to every other person that's going to listen to this, please continue to post your designs. You are helping me out because I have more designs to do and more people. Thank you very much.
You guys,
Yeah.
Jojo is it.
Jojo, the day they will drag you on Twitter for this
I will be
design,
there.
I'll be there. There's no way I will not be there.
I
There's no
promise.
way I will not come. I must be there.
You know what I want to is that as much as I say it every single day that hello, you people, I'm speaking your design. Nobody has been able to stand up and say, you
Yeah.
actually told me my design. Everybody has
Because you still like find designs and put it in
I
one
put
screen.
it, yeah. So it's
exactly.
So
truly,
we'll not catch it. Don't
yeah.
worry, we do it too. People
Indeed,
will find out when Tracker updates.
indeed, he steals like an artist. Indeed, yeah. It's beautiful the things that has inspired you both in your design journey. It's really beautiful, and this is. I'm actually going to ask Kem this question first. Then Jojo should pick up. Do you actually feel like you made the best choice by choosing design?
I believe I did. Because I'm saying I believe I did because absolutely anything can happen anytime soon. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
But pending that time, I would say that I did because it helps me really explore the creative side. And in my own case, or like Jojo's case,
Yeah.
it's not really far from my course. It's not really too far-fetched, even though they don't really need design in a lot of Nigerian universities, including mine. But it's not really far from my course. So it's something that at the end of the day, I can relate to a lot of things they teach, and you can relate to life generally. So, and I personally feel like I wouldn't have been able to thrive as well in any other field than I am right now, than this field that I am right now. So I would say, yeah, it's the best choice, honestly.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Jojo, how about you?
Yeah, so for me, though, I would say that I am an in the moment type of person. I would say yes. I don't know. Perhaps I might wake up tomorrow and all the beautiful memories I've had with design will suddenly change, and I'll say, oh, I want to become, I don't know. But I would say that the chances of that happening is really small. So I want you guys to work with me on this. So one thing that I've been able to get out of being a creative person or being a designer is for the fact that there are certain things that I hold on to that makes my person, or that design allows me to be able to interact with when I work on projects or when I talk to people I work with. So for one, I see myself as a sociable person. There is a very big aspect of design that requires you to be sociable, where you need to speak to people. Because I said the area when I was talking that there's a need for you to cement a problem before you can actually follow the problem and then create a solution. And how exactly do you cement the problem? Which is and you can do that by speaking to the people that are currently going through that problem. Or if it's something that you are going through yourself, looking for people that are also thinking to you, trying to understand their perspective. And because of, I said it earlier, I'm a sociable person. I love talking to people. So this gives me the opportunity to speak to people, get to learn about their experiences, get to learn about their personality, get to learn about how their experiences and their personality tie together to make up their person, or to make up, if that makes any sense anyway. So that's one part. Also, I said it earlier, I see myself as a creative person. I used to draw when I was small. I had several comics that I started, but never got an ending. Captain Bullshit for this. I used to have a comic called Captain Code that I started, but I never finished it. My friends used to love it. Even till today, when I meet some of my friends, they ask me, "Ah, this dude for." Unfortunately, I don't do anything. The only thing I do now sketches for my building plan because I mean, I draw examples too, but I'm doing more of drawing with my hands, the architecture. To God be the glory. Let me not say so much. But yeah, so it lets me be able to flex my creativity. I don't see myself as the best. I do want to become the best. Yeah, I mean, that's it. The sky is too big for us to have just one big best. So I do want to be the best, but it still allows me to be able to flex the need to have flex. So I want to play with colors. I mean, the other day, okay, not the other day, it was more like last year. I decided to try out a very, very messy shade of purple on a printed design. And a lot of people were like, oh, this stuff doesn't, it's not supposed to be like this. Not for me, it was a visual experiment. I wanted to see what would come out when I did that. I also see how people react. So design just really gives me the ability to be able to be human, I guess. I would say yes. That's what's at the forefront. I'm getting to solve human problems. Then at the back end, I'm getting to enjoy myself too because I know what I'm doing is something I can relate to and something that other people can also relate to. So I would say that currently, feel free to the time is currently 4:56 p.m. Yes, I know the deep touch with design. I don't know about you, but yeah.
Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, specifically you, Jojo, you in particular, rather. I'll be looking forward to you designing when you are old. I'll still be looking forward to you pushing those pixels.
Especially
Yes.
it should be the same old
There's no way I will not be here. I must come here. What are some challenges you both have faced when you were trying to collaborate with someone, in the design
Okay, the
space?
next piece. I thought I was going to try developers. Check.
Actually, let's add them. Let's bring them to the table too. Collaboration in general, actually. Let's not even limit it. Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much for this question.
Yes, thank you.
So there was this time. I think I put out a tweet about it. First time this developer was shading me up that I think the product was supposed to launch in like a year, which I think should be feasible anyway. So the design timeline that he put basically was like 2 months, and I think I completed it quite fast because I was trying to impress the man so that I can refer me to other people rather, because he paid very well and I believed that the other people would refer me to
Would pay
do the
very
same.
well. Mm-hmm.
So I rushed it. I did everything. It was according to the mind, it was really good, and it was time for the development. First month passed, second month passed. This guy had only done sign in and sign up screen.
Wow.
And that was not the first time I was working with a developer. So I was very, very confused because usually, yes, their work is not fast, but it doesn't take that long. So we had like a whole meeting. The product manager, I think she was very, very chill. So she was asking him what was happening, what was going on. And he was saying, oh, I'm not doing drag and drop. So it's not possible for me to finish it on time. And I felt, is that a shit?
Wow. Wow.
I don't blame you. Me.
They speak
That I'm saying
Kai.
And he said the thing, and I was like, okay. It's not that I cannot even develop this thing. It's just that I'm not that good to your this thing. That's why you are shading me like this. If not that I've carried the 2 jobs. But we let him be now. And afterwards, I think you guys saw the display of developers on Twitter at that time that somebody designed something, a case study template screen, and the developers were assuming that the page was going to be developed. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that kind of situation or that kind of case where the developer just immediately assumes. Now all my entire problem is with developers. All the challenges with developers. So the same way that they just jumped to conclusion in all of that, there was something about a graph or something in the application because it was a fintech application, so he had that section in it. The guy couldn't get it. He was now blaming me for doing it. I said I should change it. I asked the owner of the product himself. He said he did not want to change it. Oh yeah, nah. Ah. And I asked other people, like normal developers. I designed it in another way. Like I designed it elsewhere, so I don't have to share that particular screen you get. So I don't have to share the product basically. And they said it was something that could be developed. But I mean, it could be developed. It's not that deep. Yeah. Fast forward to 3 months later, 4 months later, 5 months later, product has not come out. There's nothing to show for it. He had not done anything. Then, I think 2 months ago, I saw I saw the thing that he did. And I put my design right beside it, and I could not see any correlation. Like, even the colors are different. Oh, God. Even the colors, the buttons, it was so inconsistent.
Wow.
And it really, really annoyed me because if that thing was to go live, for example, they probably would start blaming designers who designed this rubbish. And I'm like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
Sorry,
who
but this is
designed
not what I
this?
designed.
Yeah,
And
who
then it
designed
just
this?
led up. I started doing, oh, what you designed was not implementable. Bro,
Yeah.
what you developed cannot be used. It's not something that people would use. So my biggest problem with design will be in this entire journey. I would say developers that do not want to learn as well in the case, because obviously everybody is learning. Even me, when the Oga says he wants something like this particular design, I will learn on the job. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to completely have everything immediately I start designing. Yeah. So I'll learn on the job as well. It shouldn't cost you that much to also learn on the job. Because I mean, tech is this amazing field where there's always a new trend. There's always something new to see. Like recently, this bento style that I have been in love with. When I start designing, people should just wait for me. But yeah, all of that. And that's honestly my biggest problem. They don't also want to learn as much as they want to learn, and then they want to blame it on the fact that they are not doing drag and drop, but they are doing copy and paste to an extent. So that entire situation, it's very, very, very annoying. But yeah, that's one challenge I'd say I've faced. Every other thing I've ended up like learning how to maneuver it with like organ center designs and all of those things. I've really found my way around it, but developers have not. I won't say I've completely found my way around, because at the end of the day, I can't take your laptop and write the codes myself. So yeah.
Wow. I'm really going to be looking forward to having a developer on this podcast so I can hear their own side of the story working with designers too. Yeah. Oh, no, but truly, do you think there are actually designs that are not implementable? Like, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think there are a lot of them on Dribble actually.
Okay. So it's just
Yes, they
aesthetics and
exist
vibes, like literally you can.
Yeah.
Okay. But that won't pay me for you. You share me drag and drop. No. That's
anyhow, I've dragged him on Twitter.
Wow.
The Lord will carry the rest.
Wow. Jojo, how about you?
So for me, I want to start off by saying that if there's any developer out there looking to drag Kens on Twitter, I'm about to drag developer. But understand
Oh my goodness.
and we are going to drag her together. So for me,
I'm behind Kems. Yes, I'm behind Kems.
I don't understand this, Jojo.
It will be what will be there.
In fact, leave this place.
But yeah, so for me, I would say that I've also had my own share of troubles with developers. So I would be speaking to three. So the first one would be developers. And I think one of my major problems with developers, I mean, I have, the everyday stuff with my developers out. But for my passion projects, for the ones where I'm trying to explore, where I'm trying to build on myself and whatnot, the developers that I come across on Twitter, when I work on my designs and I say, oh, this is not the best, but it is humble work. And I put it out there and people tell me, oh, your design is amazing. I would usually have one developer come from someone that say, oh, hello, my name is John A. If I say this thing now, they will just hold me on Twitter. You people will not catch me. Anyway, my name is my name is Jojo, and I am a developer, and I would like to, work on your design as
Yep.
practice. And so when
Yes.
I'm done, I'll show it to you, blah blah blah. They will come and let you know, oh, more, I'm about to fire out your design with my implementation, and you think, yes, we are now. This might be the chance for me to find my
Let's
own
have it.
lead where I'm the AJ and my developer is the
And
designer.
goody boy.
Unfortunately, they will get the signal file.
Yeah.
The second day they tell you, bro, I'm already working on it. To the third day, you get, bro, I'm already. The fourth day, you get, bro, the fifth day, you get, bro,
Bro.
alone. Sixth day, you get nothing. And then it just
Nothing
continues
can be
on and on
managed.
and on. It got so annoying to a point whereby one day I put out a tweet, just calm banter anyway. And I said, one day I will come and talk about the developers that always come in to ask me for my Figma file, but never come back to give me any report as regards what they can do. I mean, come and tell me, is it that the design is not implemented? Have I done rubbish? Is there a button that I've done that you think it is quite
Exactly.
simple?
Feedback. They don't
Give
really
me
know about
something to
feedback
work
anymore.
with, but they tell me nothing. They just ghost me. It's like
Yeah.
I've had people ghost me in my life, but developers have ghosted me more times than people have actually ghosted me. So where exactly
That's
is this
serious.
problem coming from? It's not you get. Like, is it some sort of miscommunication? Are we poor on the communication side, or is it the designs? Are they so silly, or are they too good to the point where implementation has become impossible? So there's a need for us to really work on that part. Then the second one would be another problem that I have with collaboration would be skill level. So when I say skill level, usually people think, oh, when you want to collaborate, you'll be able to collaborate with everybody. But I like
Yeah.
being realistic as a person. And one thing I've been able to discover as regards to my journey, because you people might say otherwise, but me, I am a junior designer and I see myself as a junior designer. Okay. And one thing I've been able to discover is that when I try to collaborate with people below my level, I feel like it's usually with people below my level anyway. Because if there's anything I would say is that I've learned a lot from the tech community and I want to be able to give back as much as I can. So
Yeah.
I try to collaborate with clients. But one thing I've now discovered is that I sometimes see myself in these people that happen to be a bit lower than I am as regards skill level. So usually when the collaboration is not supposed to move smoothly, there's a need to really go over the basics once again, have discussions, show them this, show them that. And you think, oh, this is a collaboration and it's not supposed to be a class. But unfortunately, there's only much you can do, because if the collaboration is going to be a success, you need for the person you are collaborating to understand what it is that you guys are working on. So it's not a major problem. I don't think that's a major problem, but I just think that's something I've always thought would not be a problem, but happens to be, whereby, okay, if the skill levels are not well tallied enough, there is usually a lot of gaps that will need to be filled up before good work can be put out. So yeah, that's one. And then the third one would be collaborating with friends. So
Oh
it
my
might
God. Do
sound
you
like
know
I'm
that?
saying,
Do you know that?
yeah,
Do you know that? I knew that he was
let
coming to me. I actually went there to say
me
that
see.
Jojo is shading
Young
me because of
young
game
lady,
design that I've
let
never done.
vice president Ken,
Collaborating
I
with
let
just
me
knew
Kems.
it.
because I'm about to step on your neck right now. Just
Yeah.
let me see.
Yeah.
So
Let me tell you
um
this. I've never done game design in my life. And that's what Jojo is about to mention. In my defense, I was
Yeah.
learning. I was he said, let him come and teach me. He
the
now wanted to
developers
teach
that
me.
finish school, see, they've never done a finish school in their life too before. So what are you talking about?
Hey, hey, hey.
Anyway,
Me, I
that's
was
beside the
learning
point.
now. Me, I did not say that. Oh, what you are
James,
doing is
James,
too much for me.
let me open your hands to the world, please. Let me see.
I
Hey,
think
So
I think this
Ken,
is why Jojo wants to join developers to drag
but
you,
like,
Kems.
yes, I will
join Jojo.
join them to drag
Nothing
you.
anybody wants to tell me.
Anyway, Kems decided to start, doing design things. She told me
Hey,
that
my
she was
God.
trying to get something out of it.
Hey,
And,
chill.
being someone that is quite, I've said it, I'm a curious person and I love saying new things. I love saying things I
Yo,
can put my hands into. And because I've dabbled a bit into game design, and I would say I'm fairly good with prototyping, I told Kems, oh, yeah, now. this your design is very beautiful, very nice. But I feel like if you take it to the top notch, you can make better than what it is. And she said, oh, no, voila. So, now the normal process, added it to the Figma file, blah, blah, blah. And then I
Oh,
started showing things magic. Things was wow. She was like, oh, this boy, you are
oh,
so
please, Jojo just wanted to talk to me because he
no,
was on that call
it was
to midnight. People, this is like,
it
you see,
was
if Jojo is talking to any girl, he's cheating on you. Because that's I used to have calls with other designers till 12 o'clock. He was
what?
having calls
What?
till
What?
midnight.
What?
For a design that he did not even teach me, I was on my own doing sparkling coin. He was there doing
my
bubbles.
99 wives, my 99 wives out there, you see that.
Prostitution.
But
Okay.
one thing anybody should know is that you will tell James to draw a rectangle. James will draw half a rectangle and go and continue doing something else. That's how bad it is collaborating with her. So she needs to do better. James needs to do better. But
Excuse,
that's like
excuse you. Everybody that has collaborated with me before, people, when you listen to this thing, come and prove Jojo wrong. He's incorrect. He's a lie. That's not what happened. Jojo left me alone in the dust. He was not even teaching. He was on his own in one
what?
side of the Figma file. I was on the other
What?
side doing coin that can sparkle. That's what I did. That's what I did in that entire project. And I said it. So, and I wanted to even send me to Jojo's girlfriends. Please beware.
Oh my goodness. This is actually we would I think we would
Yeah.
probably have a project that you both will actually collaborate on,
Yeah.
and we would vet it to see truly. Yeah. We will vet it to see truly. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. Let me tell the world how Jojo was supposed to have a meeting with me the next evening to continue the design. And he now vanished and lied to me that there was no way to charge his laptop. And he was tweeting.
Wow.
He was still tweeting constantly. If he truly cared about the project, maybe he would open his phone and be designing. But no, he did not do that. All men are liars. Sorry. All JoJo's. No verse.
Kems.
Sorry.
Let me.
Your husband is there.
Kai. Okay, you both are actually on Twitter, and you're actually one of the top voices on Twitter in the design community. And so I'm quite certain that you've seen some design trends on Twitter in the past months that has actually really, really done well. So which of these trends has been your favorite? Bento.
That's one that has my favorite. I think I
Bento.
just like it reminds me of so when I wanted to start learning Webflow, and at the time that I was doing web development too, there was this thing where they say that everything on the web is just different boxes. Like everything on the web is contained with different boxes. I can't remember how the phrase was, but like it just had to do with everything on the web being about boxes anyway. And then when I saw the bento design the first time, it was boxes upon boxes, and it just seemed very, very beautiful, but easy to, we like say design or develop, but easy to do both anyway. So it seemed really, really nice. I think that was the time I moved my stuff from VZY. Sorry, no shit on VZY, but like I moved it from there to Bento because Bento looked very, very pretty. Like the Bento app, is it app? Say or site itself, and it had that same bento look. Like for anybody that doesn't know, so the bento new trend is basically everything being in boxes and containers all over the place on the website. So yeah, that's the trend that I really, really loved, and I'm going to try.
That's great. Jojo, how about you?
Yeah, so permit me once again. I know I'm always playing away from person, but permit me once again. So is anyone looking for what a bento view looks like, or the bento that comes referring to, you can check out my profile on Twitter. My portfolio list is the bento one. You can check it out and see what it looks like. But yeah, so
This
for
man is
me,
using me to advertise himself.
one man's favorite, another man's poison face. Anyway, what I would say though, there's actually been two trends that really left. The first one would be, it is neurobrutalism, and then the second one would be skeuomorphism. So for neurobrutalism, these two actually, the reason why I really did them is because of the fact that they are not easy to approach. Okay, so people think, oh,
Mm.
polybrutalism, once you just get like a very pale shade or a very dark shade or something, they are good to do. You just need to slap it together. But there's intention behind this type of designs. There's the need to understand how colors work, which even me myself believe I've not been able to get because the other day I still thought my purple was purple until I viewed the design on my phone and said that it was blue. I don't know whether it's my laptop screen that's trying to confuse me or I'm the one
Use your
looking at
laptop
it. But that's besides the point. So polyvisualism requires you to be able to really approach colors from a very good perspective of someone that's understood how colors work, okay? And then for skeuomorphism, there's a bit of technicality to it. There's a bit of technicality to skeuomorphism. So you can't just design and say, oh, about the shadow suite. Now, skeuomorphism is up. There's a need to understand how shadows work. There's even a need to understand the placement of shadows, like where to place it. And I would say that one thing I've been able to discover is that for people that draw and like actual artists and whatnot, if they were to become product designers, they would really mess with the idea of skeuomorphism because there's a bit of connection with it and how they draw, making their shadows and so I'll say these are two trends that I really focus for one, but the fact that they are very technical to approach. So you need to take your time to understand. So it poses a challenge. And I personally challenges. And then for the second part, simply because they are just beautiful. Okay, they are just beautiful. You would never see a well done brutalist design or no user. I don't use the brutalist. Anyone, I said my English. But you never see a design that carries the brutalism or skeuomorphism that is well done and doesn't look beautiful. Those are two trends that I really that's
That's clean. That's clean. That's really clean. This question is for you first, Jojo. Tell us, what was one eureka moment that you had as a designer? What happened? What was that achievement that sort of blew your mind? You were like, almost like that almost moment for you.
okay. So for those that know me personally, they know I've had a lot of cabinets because if there's anything you get from exploring, is that you explore, you discover new things, but you also discover new things within yourself, like how far you can push yourself to new things. So for me, though, I want to keep it simple. So I would say my first Eureka moment was when I was still undergoing my distance training. So I said it earlier when I was speaking that then I used to just come, pick up tasks, do them, and then I rarely used to attend classes. But because I was doing a lot of self exploration, as at then, when every single person in the boot camp was supposed to be viewed as someone that was just trying to learn what product design was about, I was able to push myself to actually design a game in Figma. I prototyped it and I actually moved it there. So I didn't do the whole thing because the old design stuff, like every single functionality work, would have, I mean, at that point, I should just go ahead and code it then, shouldn't I? But I was able to just, with Figma alone, I was able to design and prototype it. And when I dropped it, and a lot of people were like, oh, so this is possible. I think that was the first time that I did the internet on Twitter. That was my first moment. And that time has been instigating me up until now, which is why aside the normal explorations that people do, usually find me trying to push my buttons on other things that will try not concern me or concern my design, but I just want to try them out for the reason that I know that I might be able to affect them. So I did that game design and I really went by a lot of people commented. But one thing I was able to learn from that was for the fact that there is no limit to what you can do if you are ready to put in the amount of work that requires you to achieve that thing. Okay. So then anyone would have thought, oh, it's just a beginner too, like us now, he's just doing this, he's just getting started, he's just doing this. So I was able to do this. I know you must have been designing before. A lot of people then were telling me, why did I join the boot camp then? I'm already, there's no way I've not been designing for 2 years. There's no way I've not been designing for 3 years. So I'm like, you people, I just started learning people like you people. I just happened to be quite stubborn and my hand made it do one place. That was how I was able to find out all of these things. And so that moment is really good for me. It just opened my mind more places where I was like, yes, if I can do this, I can do a lot more. And by the grace of God, I've been able to do a lot more after it.
That's blissful. That's blissful. How about you, Kems?
I think mine has to do with, so it's very mixed, but it started from, it's like a whole day. I had like the worst day ever, and I had to design something good enough to shock the person I was working with. Then it was a gig to shock the person so that, you know, other things could happen. So I got back from classes and everything by 4. I had 2 hours, and I kid you not, I did a lot of things on Figma that day. In fact, I was shocked at how well I designed everything I did in such short time, because it was like so many screens on one major application, basically. And by the time I showed it to the man, from there he approved it. Like there was no problem, there was no question, there was nothing. Everything went smoothly. I did all of this with the prototyping. Everything was ready. The developers did everything amazingly as well. And that project and that 2 hours brought me more than 7 more gigs from that same man.
Wow.
And it was very, very crazy because nobody believed me when I said that. I just did everything in the 2 hours. Like I just ran everything in the 2 hours. Yes, I had the thing in mind before. I knew that, okay, I wanted to go and fight with this thing, but I had not started. I didn't have anything planned. None of that. I just went to Figma, did my thing, came out of Figma like somebody that is running out of the kitchen that they've burnt. And just like that, just like that, just like that.
Wow.
2023 was so good in terms of my money getting and saving because of just that one project. And another thing was me just designing like I designed walkthrough pages, you may call them that, where those onboarding pages basically, and it's made my boss want an entire redesign of the application just because of the onboarding sprints. Like, he was so impressed, wanted more of it, and just said, okay, we're redesigning this entire application. So those are my 2 like serious moments. Like, made me feel like I'm too good. Literally, like that's literally walking out of my mouth the time I found that.
I mean, you're good now. Come on, you're good now. You've seen how it works.
Like someone that just went to the kitchen after burning. Tell me they burn chicken or see they do and literate. Don't read between the lines. I don't want to find that out. But anyway, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Thank you. Just remain like that.
Nah. These moments are actually very beautiful. Yeah, I remember one time when I did a particular. Actually, the very first time I finished a product design gig, where I designed a whole website and I got the balance. Oh my goodness! It feels like it was yesterday. Oh my goodness! My goodness!
Oh my God!
That was something. Oh my! Oh my!
I'll be like,
I
did that.
Oh my goodness! Oh! Now, credit alert is therapeutic, but balance credit alert, like the balance payment credit alert, that's like on cloud 9. That one's on cloud 9. It was good.
Everything.
Yeah, it hits different because now you know
Yeah.
it's everything is done and dusted. It's beautiful. Yeah. This is actually a very big major question, and I've had it on my mind since we started this podcast, and I'm definitely going to land this one, and we're going to actually Jojo, you would have to take this. It's a very, very important question in the entire design community. Why do you use mouse, Jojo?
Thank you. Good.
Thank you very much for that beautiful question. If anything, I could say that first of all, I am simply making a market for people out there that produce mouse. You know, in this life, you want to chase money, you want to make money. there's a need for you to do it legally so you can be at peace with yourself. So what am I doing? I'm basically contributing to the community of people that sell mouse. Okay. So when I buy their mouse and I use their mouse, they get to make money legally and they feel at ease with themselves. But that's just that's on the softer note. On the more serious note, okay, it's just simply because I don't want to be referred to a designer. I don't want to be referred to as a designer that uses the trackpad. Like it doesn't sound like the first part of to me. It sounds like when they tell you, oh, you went to anti-BC nursery and primary school when you could have gone to excellent middle
I need to,
school.
I need to
You get what I'm trying to say, okay? So I just see it
Hey.
that a mouse just makes the work easier for me, really, okay? Instead of having to drag my thumb, I'll drag my thumb to the point where I might just put the fingerprints on it. Instead, I just get to move the mouse and I get to exercise my wrist too, okay? So for those that don't know, I've started going to the gym recently and I noticed that I'm able to do so well with my wrists. Why? Because I exercise them and I make it on my mouse. So there's a lot more to it. I don't even want to get into the kind of work it does for me when I'm actually working, but I'll just say that if people know the truth within yourselves, you need to get a mouse, but it's okay to tell you that. So yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Kems, would you please be kind to tell us why trackpad is king?
They are new. If you see them, run away from it. Trackpad makes your work easier.
Yeah.
It makes you do plenty amazing things.
God knows the truth. I know the truth. You listening, you know the truth, and you know that the mouse is the best thing for you. But yes, that's what I'm going to talk right now.
And I hope with these few points, truly, in fact, to actually contribute, I personally believe everyone who uses mouse should be investigated first. Yes, they should very well be investigated as a designer. Any designer who uses mouse should be very well investigated. And in as much as Designstration podcast is heavily centered on educating and, having designers and creatives in general who would educate us, there's once or twice we're going to have that back and forth basketball fight level war. And, during Christmas Eve, we're going to call it a truce. Then after Christmas Day, we're going to pick right up the fight. Is that trackpad versus mouse fight? And in this space, trackpad is king. Is king. And we're still going to be battling this for as long as we can. Is there any skill you're looking to add to your collection this year, Jojo?
I would say that there are quite a few skills I'm looking to add. So excluding aside the right now, I've been meaning to learn sorry. I've been meaning to learn okay, well maybe it's not a skill, but I won't say I'm a fitness freak because I am not a fitness freak. But I've seen what being fit does to people. So for one, I'm trying to get myself in that section where I am very fit. So the moment I'm able to do that, I'm able to explore that things where okay, yeah, so for one, my sound out of context or wherever, but I want to learn how to play polo. Like I want to be very good at polo because I feel like there's a connection between that activity and myself. I don't know what it is, but every single time I see videos of people playing, I'm interested and I want to see if they actually are both. But that's the point. So as you can learn, I use new software that I see the reason to add them to my current library because if I'm being honest, and most people will probably not believe me. But right now, the only software that I use as graphic design on the UI aspect, by the way, not UX, on the UI aspect of just, making aesthetics and colorful stuff, it's just Figma. So I plan to pick up a lot more. I plan to pick up Spline. I started learning already. Plan to pick up what's it called too. I learned Protofy for a while, but then I dropped it, so I plan to pick that up too. So a few more like that I plan to pick up. I'll just see before the year ends. I know you guys are going to be here, so you will get to see how I've been able to use Figma to being able to use all that inside and column. But yeah, I'm different for once in my life. I didn't say at the end of the year I'll be able to do this. and that's all that makes it. And that's it's a wrong thing to say you just want to go with the flow. But that's what I'm going to be doing because I don't want to do it to anybody and I'll do what I want to do. So yeah, that's
That's great. We'll be looking forward to that. Kems, how about you? Is there any skill you're looking to add to your collection this year?
Um, I already started learning workflow and Prima. So I'd say workflow, Prima, and also Jita because Snaz has been doing a lot on Twitter and not letting me rest. So I think
That's
I'm going
good.
to learn those three. And also, I just want to remind everybody that trackpad is better
Yeah,
than mouse.
yeah,
Thank
I
you very
endorse
much.
that. I endorse that. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. It's great. Closing thoughts. Closing thoughts. No questions, no restriction. I want you to drop something valuable for our listeners regarding their niche advice, tips, tricks, life hack. Go for it.
okay. So I'll go first. If anything, I just want to say that you are listening to this, you've gotten to this point of the podcast and you're still with us. I want you to know that regardless of how far you've come in your journey, regardless of the number of things that you've had, if you've been enjoying what you've been doing right from time, believe me, you're doing the right thing. You might not have made a million yet, might not have made 100,000 yet, but if you are enjoying what you're doing, stick to it. And before you know it, it will definitely pull out. It will definitely, know, give you a very good result that you will be proud of anyway. You have that you come and you have it tight, like it will hit you and it will hit you different. For me, it hits me a lot of times and it also hits me when I did my thing for payday. And for the first time ever, I got more than half a million in my accounts. Like the zeros were zeroing and I was just looking, I was like, yeah, is this me? Like how do I even explain to my parents that I did not steal this money? How do I let people know that I did something legit? So I've gotten almost a million in my account. So just stick to whatever it is that you're doing, okay? As long as you're enjoying it, by the way. If you are not enjoying it, there's a very big problem. There's a very big, and this is beyond design, this is beyond development, this is beyond that work that you're doing, this is beyond that assignment that you're attending. Life in itself, if there's anything that you're doing and you are not enjoying it, perhaps you should try something else, or perhaps you should take a step back and assess what it is that you're doing. Okay, because at the end of the day, nobody, I don't want to sound sentimental. I believe we get to make the best memories today in the present. So make the best out of your time and stick to whatever it is that you're doing and enjoying. So, yeah, JoJo Beer, by the way, it's going to be the household name very soon. If you people already know me, but I'm just saying right now that you guys should, wait out and see. It is going to be a household name very soon. But yeah, that's going to be all from my side. And yeah, mouse is in. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Kems.
Firstly, once again, trackpad. Thank you very much. And I'll say that
Yes.
thank you for this podcast, first of all. It's really nice
Thank you.
to have a design related podcast that I actually like. Yes. And
well,
then
thank
I'll
you.
say, welcome. And then to every other person, regardless of wherever you're in your journey, I'll say something that's very, very constant to everybody is learning. Like, there's always learning. I want to believe even senior developers or senior designers, rather, all of us, we learn. We will always keep on learning, whether it's from ourselves, junior designers, intermediate, the Oga themselves. There's always something to learn, basically. And don't ever shut the door to learning. Just never believe that you know it all. Yes, you know a lot of things, but like, never believe you know it all because there's always still something that you can learn or you can add to what you already know. And there's no point in giving up because if you give up, if you give up, now you lose. That's the truth. Because they say you should not grieve for anybody. Don't grieve for giving up too. Don't allow yourself to feel intimidated or to give up or any of that. Basically, just keep on learning and keep on moving, and you get to that point and even exceed the point that you want to reach. Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. That's great. I want to say a very big thank you to both JoJo and Kems for being on this podcast. I have totally enjoyed our conversation. It's been very insightful, right? And amongst the many fascinating points you've raised, most especially to Kems, thank you so much for highlighting and endorsing and enforcing
Thank
that
you.
trackpad is king. Thank you. I really appreciate. Thank you, Jojo. Thank you, Jojo. You said too many beautiful things. Thank you. I really enjoyed this podcast, and I hope this is also very insightful to our listeners, and you all get some valuable tips, truths, and talks from this. Thank you very much for being on this podcast. I really appreciate it. And that's a wrap. Thank you. I really can't wait to post this. This is actually our very first episode on the podcast where we have 3 people at once. It's always just been 2. This is the first one. And I'm really, really excited. Really excited about it. It was quite a
I can't
conversation.
wait to hear my voice. I don't know about Ken,
Thank
so I can't wait to hear my voice. Thank you very much for granting.
Thank you, Jojo.
To get me on this podcast.
Yeah.
And I was just still cooking up something in the background. When you finally reached out to me and you're like, oh, do I want to get? I was like, yes. I didn't want to get it. Okay, this is nice. So yeah, thank you very much once again. I really appreciate it. Yeah,
This is great.
Get to some
Thank
other
you.
time.
I appreciate
Your
it.
fans like
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll be there. Sure, I'll be there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure thing. Very, very sure thing. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Kebs. Thank you, Jojo. Yeah. Thank you for listening to this episode on the Designstration podcast with Ufot Ubon. If you enjoyed this episode, kindly leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. You can also suggest a topic or ask a question by filling out the form in the description below. We also appreciate when you share this podcast with friends and other creatives, even as you make plans to join us again next time, as we bring you more insightful conversations like this. Design plus illustration equals Designstration.